A two-bedroom apartment rents for $991 monthly. Houses sell for $140,818. The cost of living index dropped to 83.3 when 100 marks the national average. One state recorded a poverty rate of 20% while maintaining the nation's lowest housing costs. These aren't failed economies or abandoned towns. They're functioning states where millions of Americans live, work, and somehow pay less for everything. Mississippi has the lowest cost of living in the United States, with a cost of living index of 83.3. Mississippi's housing index stands at 66, the lowest in the country. The median price for a single-family home in Mississippi is $140,818, and the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment is $991. Mississippi has the lowest transportation costs in the nation. The living wage in Mississippi is $80,523 for a family of four, while the median income for a family of four is $70,656. Despite the low cost of living, the poverty rate in Mississippi is the highest in the nation, with nearly 20% of Mississippi residents living in poverty. The lowest-ranked states for healthcare are Mississippi, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and West Virginia. Nearly a fifth of Mississippi residents have no health insurance. Mississippi has the highest rate of obesity in the nation, with 38.7% being obese. The per capita income for Mississippi is $25,300, the lowest in the nation. The state offers manufacturing and agriculture sectors as primary employment sources. Healthcare access remains limited in rural areas where medical facilities operate at reduced capacity. Oklahoma has a cost of living index of 85.5. The median home in Oklahoma costs $260,700, and rent for a two-bedroom apartment typically falls around $1,077 per month. Housing costs run 25 to 30% below the national average. The average household in the United States spends $61,334 per year on expenses, with 34.9% dedicated to housing and housing-related costs. Oklahoma residents spend significantly less on housing compared to national benchmarks. A fifth of individuals aged 19 to 64 inches Oklahoma do not have insurance, while 14.6% of individuals reported avoiding healthcare due to cost. Oklahoma has the 16th highest murder rate in the country and the nation's second highest incarceration rate, with 639 out of every 100,000 people behind bars. The state economy depends heavily on energy production, agriculture, and aviation industries. Tulsa and Oklahoma City provide urban amenities, while smaller towns maintain traditional rural character. Utility costs remain manageable across most regions. The cost of living index in Kansas is 86.5, the second lowest in the nation, with housing especially cheap at an index of 72.6. The average single-family dwelling in Kansas costs $176,898. Two-bedroom apartments rent for approximately $995 monthly. The median price of a single-family home in the United States is $273,992, and the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment runs $1,154 per month nationwide. Kansas housing costs fall substantially below these national figures. Kansas has not expanded Medicaid eligibility. This policy decision affects healthcare access for residents earning too little to qualify for marketplace subsidies, yet too much for traditional Medicaid coverage. The state maintains solid agricultural and aerospace manufacturing sectors. Wichita serves as the aviation manufacturing hub. Central location provides logistical advantages for transportation and distribution industries. Residents face minimal traffic congestion compared to metropolitan areas in coastal states. Missouri had the sixth lowest cost of living in the United States for the second quarter 2025, with a cost of living index of 89. The city with the lowest cost of living index for this time period was Joplin with an index of 84.6. In general, the most expensive areas to live were Hawaii, Alaska, the Northeast, and the West Coast, while the least expensive areas were the Midwest and Southern states. Missouri offers moderate urban centers in Kansas City and St. Louis, alongside rural affordability throughout the state. The state provides centrally located geography with access to major interstate highways. Healthcare costs run below national averages in most regions. Transportation infrastructure connects residents to employment centers across metropolitan areas. Missouri residents benefit from lower costs on health services and basic transportation needs. Manufacturing, healthcare, and education sectors provide employment opportunities. The state maintains no extreme weather patterns that would drive up insurance or utility costs significantly. Alabama ranks among the most affordable states with housing, utilities, and basic needs well under national averages. The state supports decent job sectors, including manufacturing and aerospace industries. Homeowners insurance costs in Alabama are the sixth highest in the nation due to the Gulf Coast location. Alabama ranks 48th for healthcare alongside Arkansas. America's Health Rankings ranks Alabama 49th for overall health outcomes, citing the lowest level of access to providers in the country. Alabama has not expanded Medicaid eligibility. This decision impacts healthcare accessibility for lower-income residents. Manufacturing facilities concentrated in Birmingham and Huntsville provide industrial employment. Aerospace contractors operate major facilities supporting defense and commercial aviation sectors. The climate supports year-round outdoor activities without extreme winter conditions. Regional poverty clusters exist in rural areas where economic opportunities remain limited. These 5 states demonstrate how geographic location, policy decisions, and economic structures create affordability advantages. Housing costs represent the primary driver of overall cost of living differences. Mississippi, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Alabama maintain housing indexes substantially below the national baseline of 100. Transportation costs follow similar patterns, with fuel, vehicle maintenance, and insurance running below coastal state rates. Healthcare access emerges as the consistent trade-off across affordable states. Uninsured rates fell to record lows in all states by 2023, and differences in health coverage and access to care narrowed between states due to the Affordable Care Act's coverage expansions. States that expanded Medicaid eligibility generally provide better healthcare access than non-expansion states. Policy choices made at state level directly impact resident well-being beyond simple cost comparisons. Employment sectors in affordable states skew toward manufacturing, agriculture, energy production, and logistics, rather than technology or finance. Median incomes run below national averages in correlation with lower costs. The economic equation balances when housing consumes smaller percentages of household income despite lower absolute earnings. Families spending $991 monthly on rent in Mississippi face different financial pressures than families spending $2,311 in Hawaii despite earning more in absolute terms. Quality of life encompasses factors beyond pure affordability metrics. Access to healthcare providers, educational systems, crime rates, and infrastructure condition all affect resident satisfaction. States ranking lowest for cost of living frequently rank lowest for healthcare outcomes, creating complex decisions for potential residents. The $80,523 living wage for a Mississippi family of 4 sits just $10,000 above the $70,656 median family income. Cost of Living Index by State 2025, leaving minimal margin for unexpected expenses or savings accumulation. Nearly a fifth of Mississippi residents have no health insurance, and 14% of residents claim to have avoided seeking medical care due to cost concerns. Oklahoma has some of the nation's lowest rates of healthcare access, with a fifth of individuals aged 19 to 64 lacking insurance. 10 states, including Alabama, Kansas, Mississippi, and Texas, have not expanded Medicaid eligibility. This policy choice directly impacts healthcare accessibility for residents earning above traditional Medicaid limits but below marketplace subsidy thresholds. The average household in the United States spends $61,334 annually on expenses. Households in the 5 most affordable states spend substantially less on housing, but face increased costs in healthcare access and travel distances to specialized services. Oklahoma has the nation's second highest incarceration rate, with 639 out of every 100,000 people behind bars. Crime rates and correction systems affect community safety perceptions and property values across affordable regions. Mississippi's housing index is 66, the lowest in the country, while the median single-family home nationwide costs $273,992. The $133,174 difference in median home prices between Mississippi and the national average represents substantial savings potential. These states offer genuine financial advantages for residents willing to accept trade-offs in healthcare access, educational rankings, and urban amenities. The decision requires evaluating personal priorities against concrete data, rather than relying on cost figures alone. Geographic mobility depends on individual circumstances, including employment sector, family healthcare needs, and tolerance for reduced service availability.